18, their familiars found them. Until then, witches didn't have access to their powers. I would be 18 in 9 days. Only 9 days for my familiar to find me, or they never would. I pulled my wand out of my hair, its only current use was as a hairpin, and flicked it at the textbook. Rizius textbook. Nothing happened. I kicked one of the chairs before pulling it out and slumping into it. Only 9 more days. Isadora Scrumpleton. My mother was standing in the door to the kitchen. What? I replied. The look on my mother's face hardened. Sorry, I added. Her familial, tabby cat Sebastian, stuck his head between her legs and stared at me with large topaz eyes. This just in. Goblins have attacked Little Downs. We both turned to stare at the television. Mum picked up the remote and increased the volume. The screen showed buildings in flames with smoke pouring out of them. A group of witches worked together to contain the fire. One human held a hose, its ineffective flow doing nothing more than making him feel helpful. The full extent of the damage is not yet known, but several people have been hospitalized and a few are reported missing. A woman staggered into view. Donald! She screamed. Donald! Blood trickled from a wound on her scalp. I put my hands over my mouth as I stared at the macabre scene. Mum flicked off the television. That's the 3rd attack this week. How far away is Little Downs? A few 100 miles northwest. A long way away. They're getting closer. She moved over to me and smoothed my hair back from my face. We're too close to London for them to dare attack us. I wasn't so sure. Fear crept up my spine. What's got into you? She asked. I rolled my eyes at the television. Light goblin raids weren't enough to be worried about. That's not what had you in a froth before. I sighed. The final exam is tomorrow. Do you need help studying? It's not the theory, it's the practical. You know the prac isn't marked. It's so humiliating, standing in front of the class waving my wand. I crossed my arms over my chest and stuck out my bottom lip. I may as well be waving a chopstick. Yes, well, there have been cases of a familiar choosing a witch without the witch realizing. Remember Lara Huntley's grandson? He was chosen by a bumblebee. They would never have realized if not for the practical tests. Mum? I paused for a second, almost too scared to voice my real concern. What if I don't get chosen? You will, darling. I'm nearly 18. What if I don't? There was that kid over at Dartmouth College that never got chosen. I hear he has a very good job at a law firm in London. I don't want to work at a law firm. I resisted the urge to stomp my feet. What do you want to do? The question stumped me. I had been so focused on my powers coming in that I hadn't thought beyond that. I don't know. Well, maybe you should concern yourself with that. She ran her hands over her strawberry blonde hair, tucking the bits that had escaped her bun behind her ears. Now, I need to work on a potion for the weekly witching news and you need to study. She disappeared back into the kitchen, leaving me staring at my books and wondering what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. The students' chatter in the Ainsford College courtyard was a low rumble. I could hear the occasional mutter about goblins, but most of the conversations were centred on exams and holidays. I buried my head in my textbook and pretended to be unaware of what was going on around me. I always found that was the best way to escape the attention of the school bullies.